Hi, I'm Sedana Bourne. I'm the agriculture coordinator at the Galiano Conservancy. And here's a snapshot of everything that we did in the last year. Welcome to the food forest in 2020. Here we have our hugelkultur beds, finally producing an abundance of berries. Those of you who remember the planting in the fall of 2015 or the spring of 2016, when this looked like a sea of garlic with a few herbs and twigs, will note a pretty dramatic transformation to this abundance of herbs and veggies and berries. The berries have really been the stars of the show this year. Here's sea buckthorn looking tart and tasty, an extremely nutritious berry. The thorns make it not everyone's favorite to harvest. Of course, with the berries come the birds, and so with the birds we need the netting. We're also extremely lucky to have amazing support from our local restaurants and cafes. And we've got our very supportive restaurants here, picking up a weekly order of lally berries and black currants. We've got figs coming out now too. One new addition this year is our Oya garden. So much less water is used. We only need to fill these up 1 to 2 times a week. And we don't have as many surface weeds as well from surface watering. Our nursery offerings have dramatically expanded, especially in the area of native wildflowers and food forest perennials and annuals, including starts for winter gardening. This year we've had a lot of people who've had a chance to work on their gardens, and with the new nursery annex, we've been able to set up easy contactless pickups. Here's our compost hotspot, including our 3-bin hot compost system. Here's Michaela taking the temperature, trying to get it nice and hot so that we can kill the weed seeds and use the compost in our food forest. And our lovely worm bin that we've converted from a bathtub that we found in the woods here on the property.
Hi, this is Adam Huggins, and I'm the restoration coordinator here at the Galiano Conservancy. Probably the most obvious change at the Millard Learning Center this past year is our new program center. And the restoration team has been busy transforming the former construction site around it into a demonstration center for water conservation and fire smart and native landscaping. Previously, the runoff from the building and parking lot were actually causing a lot of erosion on the roadways. So we've channeled all of that water into a bioswale that, when it's mature, will filter the water and help it infiltrate back into the earth. We also installed gates and fences around the landscape, which will keep deer out and invite people in. Inside, we built 3 cold frames with a solar-powered mist irrigation system, which is going to really improve our success rate with cuttings for the nursery. We also had a restoration of natural systems student from the University of Victoria named Fern Yip help design the native landscaping, and it was planted this spring in one go by 50 UBC undergrads. Farther from the building, we've got shrubs and trees, and closer to the building, we've got more of a meadow ecosystem, with wildflowers like yellow monkey flower and yerba buena, and even a little bit of a prickly pear cactus. Good luck, little one. The plantings are designed with fire smart in mind, so that they add beauty, but don't endanger the building. We also added a ton of rainwater storage capacity this year, including a donated 18,000-liter tank at the program center, as well as small donated barrels at the classroom and at the forage forest, and a mammoth 40,000-liter ferrocement cistern that we painstakingly constructed out at the nursery. I'll spare you the details, but you can ask me about my scars sometime. All of this water is now the sole water source for the nursery annex, and in future years, will go towards watering our main nursery out at the food forest as well. Speaking of the nursery annex, which Sedana mentioned earlier, this is our new sales area up at the program center for nursery stock, and I agree that it's been a huge improvement in making these plants accessible, and we're on track to have easily our best year of sales yet. So a few odds and ends we've been working on. We are establishing thick native vegetation underneath the solar array, which should theoretically help cool the panels off and make them more efficient throughout the season, which is pretty cool. We've also put in a simple but effective gray water system that takes the water from the laundry machine and shower at the program center and safely conveys it underground into a series of mulch basins. As soon as the weather allows, we'll plant fig trees in these basins, and we will eagerly await the fruit. Okay, so now we're going to follow Emily down the hill to the classroom and the forage forest. We've been lucky to have another UVic restoration student named Adam Dewar working with us to landscape and restore the area around the classroom. There are now nice pathways and some young restoration plantings, mostly native shrubs that are going to be pretty deer resistant. But the main event will be an educational wetland that we're installing this coming fall using a synthetic pond liner right out front of the classroom. It's going to fill using water from the roof of the classroom, and then the overflow will travel through some culverts into the Natsamat forage forest across the road. Speaking of the forage forest, it continues to grow beautifully. Each year, the harvest of important species like hakmean grows, and we're also adding new wildflowers for pollinators as we go along. The original plantings also continue to mature, and some are already quite productive, with others just starting to produce. Now that the deer have been excluded for a couple of years, the natural regeneration on its own is astounding. We have alder trees that have grown 4 to 5 meters in just a couple of years. A brief roundup of some of our other activities. This year we put quite a bit of time into Lachlan Lake. The restoration there had been very successful. So successful, in fact, that the original cages that were installed to protect the trees from deer and beaver were starting to fall apart, with predictable results. So we replaced those cages as needed to continue to allow this young forest to get firmly established. Of course, it wouldn't be restoration without lots of removal of target invasive species, and this year we focused mostly on Scotch broom, of course, and also tansy ragwort, which we're trying to eliminate from the Learning Center. And in all the in-between moments, we try to fit in seed collection and cleaning for the nursery so that we have lots of seeds for the next year's growth. Just at the end here, I want to give a huge thank you to all of the volunteers who've come out this past year, even through COVID, and also to our awesome seasonal staff for the past year, including Sadie Gibbs, Sophia Silverman, Carlene Paltzat, and Sylvie Hawks. Okay, that's all for now, folks. On behalf of the agriculture and restoration teams, thank you for watching and for supporting us, and feel free to exit through the gift shop.